right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on cryptocurrency. You know, that thing that's like revolutionizing finance, but also making everyone kind of scratch their heads at the same time. Yeah, so we've got this YouTube video from Who's the Boss? And he's trying to kind of demystify this whole crypto thing. And I gotta say, his approach is actually really clever. He starts by like taking us back to basics, like way back, like bartering cats for horses.
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting way to frame it. When you like get rid of all the complexity.
Yeah.
With the blockchain and algorithms and all that, cryptocurrency is really just about how humans exchange values.
Right, exactly. And the video actually lays out this whole evolution of exchange in like 5 distinct stages, starting with that whole, cat for horse barter system. I mean, it's funny to think about, but it really highlights a crucial point, which is trust.
Right.
You have to trust that the cat you're getting is actually worth a horse.
Absolutely. And as those systems of exchange kind of evolved, that trust shifted from the like inherent value of goods, like precious metals, to these institutions like banks and governments.
Right.
We went from like lugging around sacks of silver to paper money backed by, well, a promise.
And then we entered the digital age,
right,
where money became like invisible, just numbers on a screen. So in a way, cryptocurrency feels like a natural progression, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, especially with the emphasis on decentralization.
Yeah.
It's like taking that trust away from those traditional institutions and putting it in the hands of technology.
Okay, so let's break down this technology a little bit. The video explains cryptocurrency as like a digital asset that's recorded on this shared ledger called the blockchain. It's not just any ledger, right?
The blockchain is like revolutionary because it's decentralized
and
incredibly secure. So think of it as like a public record of every single transaction, and it's constantly being verified by this entire network of computers.
And those computers are those infamous miners that we hear so much about. I have to admit, the first time I heard about mining cryptocurrency, I pictured like people in hard hats digging for digital gold.
Yeah, it's understandable image. But these miners aren't actually digging for anything. Instead, what they're doing is they're using their computing power to solve these complex mathematical problems, which in turn verifies those transactions and adds them to the blockchain.
So it's like a giant collaborative Sudoku puzzle that's constantly being solved and expanded. And the reward for solving these puzzles is more cryptocurrency.
Exactly. That's the incentive for miners to participate in the network. But it also highlights one of the criticisms of cryptocurrency, which is the whole energy consumption thing associated with mining. Some cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, require a tremendous amount of computing power, which translates to, a significant carbon footprint.
That makes sense. It's like a trade-off. We get this decentralized and secure system, but potentially at the expense of
environmental sustainability. It's a complex issue. And there's a lot of debate about how to address that environmental impact. Some of the newer cryptocurrencies are actually experimenting with alternative methods that are less energy intensive. So for instance, there's this system called proof of stake, which doesn't require the same level of computational power as Bitcoin's proof of work system.
So it sounds like there's like a real push to try to make cryptocurrency more sustainable, which is encouraging. But before we get too deep into those details, let's back up a bit and talk about the allure of cryptocurrency. Like, what are the big advantages that have people so excited about this?
Well, as we touched on earlier, decentralization is a huge one. It takes that power away from those traditional institutions like banks and governments, potentially leading to faster transactions and lower fees.
The video also mentions faster international payments. No more waiting days for a wire transfer or dealing with those hefty exchange rates.
Right. Those are all potential benefits. But it's important to remember that the world of cryptocurrency is still evolving. So not all of these advantages have been fully realized yet.
It's like we're in the early stages of the internet, where things are exciting, but still a bit clunky.
Exactly. There's a lot of potential, but also a lot of unknowns. And speaking of unknowns, there are literally thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, each with its own quirks and claims. It's enough to make anyone's head spin.
Yeah, we've got Bitcoin, the OG of the crypto world. But then you've got all these altcoins vying for attention. Ethereum, Cardano, Litecoin, the list goes on and on. So how do these different currencies actually differ?
Well, some of the key differences lie in the underlying technology, the speed of transactions, and the level of adoption. Bitcoin being the first and most well-known, it often sets the benchmark. But some of those altcoins are really trying to improve upon. Bitcoin's limitations, focusing on things like scalability, speed, and energy efficiency. Ethereum, for example, has gained a lot of traction because its smart contract functionality, it's like this programmable layer on top of the blockchain. That allows for like a wider range of applications.
Oh, that's the one. That powers a lot of those like decentralized finance platforms.
Right.
DeFi. God, it feels like every time I turn around, there's a new acronym to learn in this space.
Yeah. It's definitely a fast-moving world. And it's not just about currencies anymore. It's about building like entire ecosystems on top of this blockchain technology. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I think we still need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the fact that the crypto market is incredibly volatile.
Right. It's like a roller coaster ride with prices like swinging wildly from day to day. The YouTuber in our source video actually shared his own investment strategy, which is basically putting small amounts into a variety of coins and seeing what happens. He even used the term gamble, which I found a bit unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's an apt description in some ways. Cryptocurrency is still a very speculative market. Unlike traditional assets, like stocks or real estate, there's no like long history or tangible backing to determine value.
It's all about perception and market sentiments. Like a tweet from Elon Musk can send a coin skyrocketing.
It can. And that's one of the risks that investors need to be aware of, that lack of regulation and the influence of social media. It makes the market very susceptible to manipulation. So it's important to remember that mooning, that sudden dramatic price increase is often fueled by speculation. And it can be very short-lived.
And just to be clear, we are absolutely not giving financial advice here. This is purely for informational purposes. Cryptocurrency is a risky investment, and people should only invest what they can afford to lose.
Absolutely. It's essential to do your own research, understand the technology, and be aware of the risks before diving into the crypto market.
Speaking of risks, let's talk about the darker side of cryptocurrency. The video highlighted some concerns that I think are worth exploring further. For instance, there's this perception out there that cryptocurrency is like a haven for illegal activities. Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's a bit more nuanced than that. While cryptocurrencies can be used for illicit purposes, the idea that they're completely anonymous and untraceable is a misconception.
Wait, isn't anonymity like one of the big selling points of crypto?
It's more accurate to say that cryptocurrencies offer pseudonymity, not anonymity.
Yeah.
Every transaction is recorded on that public blockchain, so there's a permanent record.
Just like a digital trail of breadcrumbs. Like if someone really wanted to, they could trace those transactions back to a specific individual?
That's possible, especially with the increasing sophistication of blockchain analysis tools. So law enforcement agencies are actually getting better at tracking down these illicit activities. That involved cryptocurrencies.
That's good to know. So this whole crypto as a Wild West for criminals narrative is a bit exaggerated.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
In fact, studies have shown that the percentage of cryptocurrency transactions that are linked to criminal activity is actually lower than that of traditional cash.
That's surprising. I guess perception doesn't always match reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crucial to look beyond the headlines and really understand how the technology works. Another concern that's often raised is the limited acceptance of cryptocurrency as a form of payment.
Right. I can't exactly walk into my local coffee shop and pay with Bitcoin yet, although some companies have experimented with it.
There have been some high-profile examples, like Microsoft and Tesla, but they haven't exactly gone all in on crypto payments. The infrastructure for widespread adoption still needs to be developed.
It seems like there's this back and forth between enthusiasm and hesitation when it comes to mainstream adoption.
It's understandable. Businesses have to weigh those potential benefits, like lower transaction fees, against the risks, like volatility and regulatory uncertainty. Speaking of uncertainty, let's move on to something that's both fascinating and confusing.
NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Every time I think I'm starting to understand crypto, something new pops up and throws me for a loop. Help me out here. What are NFTs in a nutshell?
Imagine like a digital certificate of ownership.
Yeah.
That's recorded on the blockchain. It's a way to verify that you own a unique digital asset.
So it's like owning the original digital file as opposed to just like a copy.
That's the idea. It could be anything. A piece of digital art, a music track, a virtual item in a game, even a tweet.
I'm still wrapping my head around this. The video showed some examples. That I found a bit baffling, like someone paid millions of dollars for Jack Dorsey's first tweet. It's just a tweet.
It's about the idea of digital scarcity. Anyone can screenshot that tweet, but only one person can own the NFT associated with it. It's like owning a piece of internet history.
And the value is purely based on perception. If people believe it's valuable, then it is.
It's a combination of factors: scarcity, historical significance, the social status associated with owning it. It's a very different way of thinking about value.
And speaking of different ways of thinking about value, we can't forget about Dogecoin, the meme-based cryptocurrency. That became like a real-life financial phenomenon. It's a story that really highlights the power of online communities.
Absolutely. Dogecoin started as a joke, this lighthearted alternative to Bitcoin, but it quickly gained traction online.
The Shiba Inu dog mascot certainly helped. It's hard to take something too seriously when there's like a cute dog meme involved.
Yeah. It's a fascinating case study in how online communities can drive value. The more people talked about Dogecoin, the more its price went up.
It became like a self-fulfilling prophecy, fueled by memes and this shared sense of enthusiasm. But is there any like real substance behind Dogecoin? Or is it all just hype and speculation?
It really makes you wonder about the nature of value, doesn't it?
Yeah, if a meme coin can reach like a multi-billion-dollar market cap, what does that say about our traditional notions of worth?
It's a question that goes beyond cryptocurrency. I mean, we're seeing this play out in other digital spaces as well, like the metaverse and the world of NFTs. It really challenges us to rethink how we assign value to things in this digital age where scarcity can be manufactured and communities can exert like enormous influence.
This whole deep dive has really been an eye-opener. We've gone from bartering cats for horses to digital assets and meme coins. It's a wild ride.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface. The world of cryptocurrency is constantly evolving. New technologies, new applications, new challenges. It's a space that demands constant learning and adaptation.
Well, luckily, we have experts like you to guide us through this complex landscape. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that our listeners should keep in mind as they navigate this world of cryptocurrency?
I think the most important thing is to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism and curiosity. Don't just jump on the bandwagon, because everyone else is. Do your own research, understand the risks, and be prepared for those inevitable ups and downs.
That's great advice. And remember, this is just the beginning of the story. Who knows what the future holds for cryptocurrency? Maybe we'll all be paying for our coffee with Dogecoin someday. Or maybe there's a whole new form of digital currency just waiting to be invented.
The possibilities are endless, which is both exciting and a bit daunting. But one thing is certain. Cryptocurrency is a force to be reckoned with. And it's shaping the future of finance in ways we're only beginning to understand.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today. But as you said, this is just the starting point. So for our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.
As we always say, the most valuable asset in this digital age is knowledge.